Well, I hope you find this video educational and especially entertaining. There's a lot of ups and downs in this one. Yeah, so let's do this. Gimgagi, everybody. This is December 26th. I am returning home from my brother's house. Went to his house for Christmas and hadn't been on the bike for long trips for about 18 months. So this was a big test to see how my back and everything else was going to do. And it was supposed to be a completely different video. I was supposed to video stuff going up, make a review at my brother's house, and then take some more stuff coming home. And well, 7 miles leaving my house to go north, the helmet mount broke, and it just got colder as I went north, and I just got more frustrated and just tossed the whole thing. So here we have a video that I wasn't expecting. So this is the toll booth to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, not to be confused with the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is up in Maryland. It's also called the Lucius J. Kellum Jr. Bridge Tunnel. I believe that they renamed it in 1980, I believe. So this lady right here is asking me if I had turned back there, back in Cape Charles, about an hour and a half ago, and because she had seen me while she was coming to work. And so I was kind of telling her, yeah, I'm just going home and just filming, and told her to go to Cape Charles, the brewery, because that's where I went. They have a wonderful warm pretzel with beer cheese. And also they have a, like, I don't know, some kind of orange blood red beer that is phenomenal. So they charge you $14. Doesn't matter if you have a two-wheeled vehicle or a four-wheeled vehicle, as long as you don't have anything in tow. I take up 2 tires, a credit card width of contact with the ground, and that truck right there has 4 tires. That has, 4 dinner plates worth of contact with the road. So I don't know why we get charged the same, but so up here on the right here is a pull off that you can either going south here. You can just park there and take some photos. I was trying to point to where I kind of live. If I had binoculars, I could probably see this part from where I actually live. So we're coming up here to the first rise and the first little part of the bridge. And just a beautiful sight. I mean, water to the right, water to the left. As you can see there, it's just wide open. And I'm sorry that the skies weren't as beautiful as I have ridden across this multiple times. But this little part of the bridge comes up and over. And I guess during research and development that they couldn't make the bridge span the entire way due to the fact of the channels for where the ships come in and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting. You can go to a website, cbbt.com/history/ and I'll have it down in the box below. You can tap on it, go all the way down to the bottom of the page. There's 2 videos from the building of this, and also this part that I'm riding on right now, and for the rest of this video on the bridge, other than the tunnels, was all built in 1999. It used to be just one lane going in north to south. But in 1999, the expansion of this bridge was to add a second 2 lanes. So you'd have 2 going northbound, 2 going southbound to the bridge. And there's a additional, I think 2035 to 2040. I think they have the expansion of the second tunnel, but we'll get into that later. So right here, you see a little bit of sand on the right side here. It follows up, and you'll see basically there's a nice little beach, pretty much untouched. But back in the 1950s, there was a man. This is the way the story goes: is he was walking along that beach, and had found a bottle, and he took the cork out of the bottle, and a genie popped out, and the genie offered him one wish. And the man asked, I have to take a ferry every day across this, bay of water to get to South Virginia. If there would be any way that you could make a bridge. And the genie started to think, and he went over the research and development ideas and the amount of product it would take, the concrete, the steel, the environmental impact of making such a structure. He goes, oh, right there. I pointed. That's usually a cop sits right there. So the genie just looked at Mr. Kellerman's like, look, I don't think that's going to be possible. It's just too much to ask for. He goes, but go ahead and ask me another and let me see what I can do. And he goes, well, I'm on my fourth wife, and all of them complain that I wasn't emotionally attentive to their needs, and they sometimes cried, and or they throw fits. And he goes, if you could make me understand women. And right there, the genie interrupted and said, do you want that 2 lanes or 4? Well, here we are in 2023 when I'm riding across this. The genie is still working on getting this built because we're no further more of understanding women. So, like I said, this part of the bridge was built in 1999. The left side of the screen, as you see, that was built in 1964, was completed. It started to get built in 1960. What I found was amazing is that they sold bonds to private investors of $200 million. And I looked it up. The equivalency of today's money would be $1.2 billion. So you could say that, that bridge that you're looking at over there to the left cost $1.2 billion back then. And it just really is amazing. And as a motorcyclist, I really hate this bridge. If you just look to the right and the left, if somebody makes contact with me, or any kind of issue happens, I'm going over. The bike's staying on the bridge, but me, the person, is going to go right over that bridge. And right now, you probably don't want to go into that water. I'm pretty sure it's definitely in the low 50s. Remember where the Chesapeake Bay comes from, all the rain, and anyways, you can look all that stuff up. So, me highly suggest be careful of your speed on this bridge. There's these little turn-ins that you'll see occasionally, and the cops do sit on them, and the northbound ones have them too. They did a restoration project on it, and they now have them little pull-offs, and you're seeing that wire so far so far in front of you that they already clocked you before you even saw them. So here we are going down to a single lane, and we're going into our first tunnel, and this is it's kind of interesting because right here, I believe, if I remember straight, there's a cop. So you at least know what the cars look like. But again, the speed limit is, there he is. It's 55 miles an hour. And just for shits and giggles. Again, I'm doing this live, one take, not cutting it apart. I did pull off this information. Is they have level one, two, three, four, five, and six for restrictions and for wind. So if they're having 40-mile-an-hour winds, um, nothing that's allowed. A large pickup camper, camper with trailers, house trailers, anything being towed, vehicles with exterior cargo are not allowed. Level 2 is 47 miles per hour. And that's what's more important to me, is because at 47-mile-an-hour gusts, motorcycles are not allowed to cross this span. Other things like large pickup campers, uh, camper trailers, house trailers, anything being towed, vehicles with any exterior cargo, empty tractor trailers, but they do allow not to include empty tanker trucks. Small six-wheel trucks such as moving vans, rental cars, rental trucks, sorry, not cars, school buses. So even at 47, there's no school buses and there's no motorcycles going to cross this bridge. Level 3 is 55 miles per hour. The only thing that's allowed are cars without exterior cargo, pickup trucks without cargo, minivans, SUVs, and tractor trailers without trailers. And then level 4 is 60-mile-an-hour winds. I'm just going to keep going. They go up to 65 miles an hour. Only cars can cross, without exterior cargo. That's it. I don't know if I would want to even cross this in a car at 65 miles an hour. But then they also close it if it goes beyond that. So, of course, hurricane conditions and stuff like that. I did find, I believe there's been 17 incidences of vehicles going over. I think, if I remember straight, it was 14 tractor trailers. If you go over, I think only 2 people have survived. You can do your own research. I don't want to get doom and gloom. I did try to look up to see if there's any motorcyclists that have gone over, and that I could find. I did not see any. I did not want to be the first. It really is. It's so worth. If you live north and you're going south and you take 95, you could take all the way down to the south point of New Jersey, go over the Cape May Lewis Ferry, continue down here and go over this Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel. It's going to cost you a bit more, but I'll tell you honestly, it's worth just doing it for the trip. If you've never done it, it's worth it. Actually, the Cape May Lewis Ferry is worth it. They have a bar at the top of the ferry, which is kind of nice. Anyways, we'll get away from. You know what? I'll take a sip. That's a good time. I love this guy's blinker. There you go, buddy. Because you're not making a right anytime soon. So I think I got that. That's level 1. Mr. Kellum making a wish. I think I'm probably still on there. I'm going to tell you other impressive facts. So some of them is just going to be repeated. The bridge tunnel is 17.6 miles or 28.3 kilometers total length. From toll booth to toll booth, I did find that it was 20 miles. What do we got here? Opened in 1964. Oh, we had a ferry system prior to that. From 1930 to 1964, They did have a ferry system, and the day this opened, they took it all down, uh, sold off the ferry stuff, and they sent some of the ferries up. Oh, right there, I was just showing you. You can reverse the video. That's the newest addition to. They're going to make exactly this tunnel to the right, so it's 2 lanes going through it, uh, trying to complete what Mr. Kellum wished for when he opened that bottle was 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction. So they replaced that. Oh yeah, all the ferries went up to actually the Cape May Lewis Ferry crossing, which they still have not made a bridge there. That's kind of the basically this kind of the same thing. What do we got? Yeah, you got 12 miles of bridge, 2 tunnels, 1 mile approximate. As of January 2021, over 140 million vehicles have crossed this bridge tunnel. We have crazy. I'm going to go back to the ferry thing. There's 90. They were doing 90 one-way trips. So basically, you could think of 45 round trips a day were being done with the ferry, and you know that was at the max that they could perform. I'm still trying to look here. In the mid '60s, Chesapeake Bay Ferry Commission sold $200 million in bonds, equivalent to 1.52 billion in 2022 dollars, to private investors, and proceeds were used to finance the construction of the bridge tunnel. Funds collected by future tolls were pledged to pay the principal and interest on these bonds. No local, state, or federal funds were used in the construction of this project. That's amazing. Government would want their hands somewhere in on this. If it was built today, I'm sure that these new extensions probably are getting somewhere funded by government. 7 workers were killed at various times during the construction. In April 1964, 42 months after construction began, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel opened to traffic and the ferry service discontinued. The bridge tunnel is supported financially by the tolls collected from the motorists who use the facility. So still not collecting any money from the government. Oh, there it is. It was renamed for the guy that found the bottle and asked for the genie in 1987, over 20 years after it opened. The project that we had passed there, and I said they're digging another tunnel, that is projected to be finished in 2027. At the cost of $756 million, is just going to get to dig that tunnel. You know that's going to escalate. It's probably going to be $1 billion. They're saying construction cost is $755 million, $997,318. You know that's going to be more than that. Yeah, and then projected 2035 to 2040, they'll do the other tunnel, the first one that I went through. And it will, you know, the genie will have completed his completed his gifting of the wish to Mr. Kellum. Unfortunately, Kellum had passed away, I believe, in the 90s. Just keep going through here. There's the other northbound toll booth. That's where I learned right then and there that my helmet bracket had already broken for my GoPro, so it wasn't going to work all the way till I got to my brother's house to get a new piece to put on. When they break, it takes 24 hours for them to adhere to the helmet. Plus, it was getting too cold. Even if I had one in my bag, it just wouldn't have worked. And right here is that final release of, okay, I'm finally home. You're still energized about going over the bridge, and just happy to be home, I guess. The total trip is a little under 400 miles, and I hurt the next day, but it did click in my mind that the motorcycle again is back in for long distance travel. I would do it if I had a choice to do shorter mileage because of the recovery of doing this all in one day. Wednesday after the next day, I was just laying on my back. Um, so that wasn't fun, just taking ibuprofen. Oh, just to tell you, both tunnels is 13 feet 6 inches high. The bridge tunnel management prohibits bicycles, but they do provide a shuttle van for $15. So if it was $14 for me to cross, they're charging $1 more for a service van, but you do need to call ahead. Mandatory that the bridge is checked and serviced every 5 years. Since servicing the bridge takes about 5 years, the process is a continuous cycle. Oh, one thing I found very interesting about the bridge: if you do get pulled over, it is its own entity. It's its own police department. At any given time, there is 1 to 2 cops on the bridge willing to give tickets. I'm not going to tell you that you can speed, but you know, the speed limit's 55. I've gone past 61, 62, but that's the max speed I'm going on that bridge. What was interesting is at that second tunnel, there used to be on the southern side. So when I came out of that tunnel, there was a gift shop and restaurant, and it opened in 1964 when they opened it. And it had a pier. It still has a pier, but the restaurant gift shop have been torn down with the new construction of the tunnel. I don't know. I'd like to see them reopen that. I don't know if it was profitable or not, but I understood, like, you could get the contract to run the restaurant. Plus, also the fishing pier also had, a place that you can buy, stuff to go fishing. Um, Kind of a neat place if you had a grandkid or, young adult that you were like, living here. I would probably take somebody there like that loves fishing. But yeah, they tore down the restaurant, but they are planning on reopening to the public when the project is done in 2027, is to reopen the pier. What else can I tell you about that before I get home? It has had a couple of shutdowns. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel has been closed 3 times for multiple days after being struck by watercraft. It's been a while, since December 1967. It was down for 2 weeks. January 21st, 1970, closed for 42 days. And in 1972, for 2 weeks. It has had structures or items hit the structure for shorter times. Like here, they also say in June 2011, it was shut down for 4 hours due to a less significant strike caused by a barge or something like that. It's just I've crossed it. I don't know, 40, 50 times. Got to remember, I lived in Jersey and I came down here with my first wife. I don't know, 5 or 6 years, multiple times a year. Second wife and I used to love going over to Cape Charles. Um, it's just a wonderful bridge. That body of water right there. Hopefully this year I'm going to do another video um, kayaking. As my last video was me back in 2022, I want to do a new video of kayaking when the doctor signs off that I can do that. Because also the International Airport of Norfolk flies right over um, that body of water right there. So, as you probably have been looking at my video, military entrance right up here to the right, right by the McDonald's. This is really home territory. This is within the 8 miles of my house. So quickly traveled back a little ways there as, the bank I go to. And, what I do really like about this area, it is beachy, shorey, but it's not Virginia Beach. This is Norfolk. Much calmer, much more relaxed. You don't have the tourism here. You'd have the tourism in downtown. So this is North Norfolk. And I love this little bridge. If you look left and right, there's just marinas on both sides. There's restaurants that flank the marinas. And right there you saw Kova. It's a pour yourself your own beer. I guess you put money on a card and you go up and you swipe it and they give you a cup and you pour by the ounce. I've been to a couple of those, and I just seem to pick the beer that the cup is bigger than a pint. So, when you're pouring, you can pour yourself a $12 beer real quick. So I'm not a big fan. This is more beachy community, as you can tell. I'm sure these houses are a half to a $750,000. Just a wonderful place. This road, as I'm going, goes to my house. But if I turned around, if you look at some of my videos, this goes all the way to the Virginia Beach. It's all one road with 15 different names. There, Carla's Beach House, wonderful place for breakfast. I think she closes at 3 o'clock. Place I got my haircut was back there on the left. Just there's plenty of places for you to park and go to the beach. If you don't want all the traffic of people from all over coming. As soon as you find your spot on the beach, you go back and repeat it multiple times. You'll see these blue and green triangle like looking flags on my right side, and they're stating and showing where beach access is. And sometimes they have parking, and sometimes you gotta just find parking, and then you can access the beach from there. They're redoing that. They've been redoing that park back there on the left for God knows how long. Over a year. So, again, I'm just really super happy that I'm home. Took off from my brother's house at around 9:30. With me stopping over in Cape Charles was, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And getting home now here at about 4:30 or so. Don't try to look at the clock on my bike because that's completely wrong. I've tried to look it up 5 times of how to change that clock, and I still can't figure it out. I did it when I bought the bike. I figured out how to change it, but oh, here's the brewery over here to the left. This one I'm going to a seminar on the current and wind. It's called the Bold Mariner. Um, but they're doing a seminar about the Chesapeake Bay, and hopefully at the end of this month, I will have attended that. And because really love to go kayak from my backyard over to Cape Charles, and then I'll probably either kayak back or I will spend the night and kayak back the next day, or I don't know. Can I get an Uber back? That's probably going to be expensive. Or I'll just have somebody pick me up. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to kayak back because I just went over the cost. I'm like, for $100, it's probably going to cost me to get back. So that's a dream of mine. I don't know what the passageway for the big ships, because big tanker ships come in through here. Cruise ships that go into Norfolk come through here. I don't want to play with those big ships in a kayak. Hopefully you've kind of enjoyed this. Hopefully you're still watching. I don't know if this is going to be entertaining to everybody, but I wanted to give as much information as possible, and I didn't want to rush it and sound scripted, and wanted to put my own little 2 cents in. And I think it's a wonderful place to visit. It's definitely a wonderful place to live. It does get hot here, but it does get cold. So, you got a month of cold and you got about 2 months of hot. And when I say hot, it's 90 degrees plus, has gotten up to 100. And it's humid. I mean, just hot and humid. So much water around. But you can endure that. You can, 10 months out of the year, it's, low rain, low snow. I'm going to knock on wood, is that we haven't had snow in 5 or 6 years. That's a realty right there with the beautiful lighting. Real estate place. That's a living apartment complex there to the left. City kind of park right there to the right. You can park there and go on the beach. There's a playground and some basketball courts. One day I'm going to go to the basketball courts just so I can get made fun of. This is like a little gated community to the right. I said gated, not gay. I said gated. Coming up here is a multi-level, it's adult. It's 50. I believe it's 55 and older. Independent living. There's no nursing or anything there. It's just a complex. There's also another one right here. This park right here to the right, there was a little atrium that there's live concerts during the summer. I think it's every Friday night for the entire summer. I've taken many pictures right there in the access to the water to get some sand pictures of my bike. And this is the real familiar area. Back there, right across the way from that park, there was the place where I go grocery shopping. This up here to the left, all these trees, they're real interesting looking trees. And hopefully to do a video in there, I guess I'm going to park up here to the right and cross over, because I'm not going to be able to do it with my bike because there's no way to drive into that park. But if you see these trees to the right, they're the same tree. Wicked cool during the summertime. All those trees right there to the right have hammocks that people put up. And if you go back to my car wash video or my motorcycle wash video, you got to get there pretty early in the morning to get a spot. because I think it was like before 7 a.m. They were already on 4th. Was it 4th of July? It was mega early. They were already filled up. Oh, right here to the right, that's the pier that's on my page. It has a restaurant, and also you can pay to fish on the pier. It's only open during the summer. The restaurant, I think the pier is maybe the pier isn't open all winter long. But there's the beach there and stuff like that. The restaurant does have a topside bar, open air bar. So if the weather's nice, um, I've eaten there 3 times, I think. Nice place. So here it is, ladies and gents. Getting home. The only thing I'm thinking right now is remember the side stand, because you get home and you want to get off, and you just want to get your shit inside, unpack, and be done. So if you're still listening and still watching, thank you. Home sweet home. And there's my truckster. And I didn't look over. Maybe I did. There's my other bike. So this is where I say, side stand down. Good job, Blake. This is where I say, embrace the suck.